Hello and welcome to Spectrum News at 2. My name is Xavier Robert, coming to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom. Let's take a look at the headlines. Vice President Shatima chairs National Economic Council meeting. Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Moino sends names of commissioners and special advisors to State Assembly for screening. Plus, U.S. announces new $1.3 billion military aid package for Ukraine. We'll bring you details of these stories and more in a moment. First in the news this afternoon is an update that the National Economic Council NEC meeting is being held at the Council Chambers of the State House, Abuja. The meeting, which is being of the Nigerian Governors Forum, as well as stakeholders from the World Bank and other agencies of government. This is reportedly the second meeting of the Council, and it is expected to deliberate on the reviewed palliative package for Nigerians following the removal of petrol subsidy and the recent hike in petrol prices to up to 670 naira per litre as a result of market forces. From the red chambers, now the Senate has berated the Nigeria Customs Service NCS over the alleged incessant killing and shootings of Nigerians, especially those living in border communities. The Senate particularly condemned the indiscriminate shooting by customs officers in Katsina State on July 13. The Senate pressed against the NCS. The decision followed a motion moved by the senator representing Katsina Central, Abdulaziz Yaradua, calling on the red chambers to investigate the abuse of firearms by the customs officers.
At assisting the service to effectively counter activities of smugglers who have recently become emboldened in their attack on custom personnel, in many cases using sophisticated weapons. Worried that some officers of the Nigerian Customs Service, who should be civil and professional in their engagements and handling of firearms, have had a series of shootings of innocent citizens.
People living around that border, their livelihood is this business. For a very, very long time, once the custom decide to take position of shoot aside, what happened? The smugglers went and collaborated with the bandits. So therefore, it's become a kind of clash. That
a recurring dismal. There hasn't been issues with custom in Lagos, in Ibadan, in the east, and in the southwest. But the corridor between Katsina, Niger, Kano, a lot of people lost their lives simply because they are suspected of carrying a bag of rice.
The Nigerian Senate condemns in totality the killing of innocent citizens just because they are found with bags of rice without any investigation, and that we condemn it in totality. We don't believe in any way that a bag of rice on a motorcycle is enough to attract a capital punishment. And then I also want to commend my colleagues for your contributions, particularly that of the Air Vice Marshal Napoleon Bally, retired. He pointed out that it is also the nature of the arms that are to various laws of.
On electoral matters now, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has Kanmamudia Kubu disclosed this at the post-election review meeting with electoral officers in Abuja. Kubu said the commission invited transport providers to review logistic arrangements before, during, and after materials to various locations, explaining that the review would allow INEC interact with electoral officers in critical areas.
Today, we commenced a more focused engagement at the national level with the Commission's frontline officials, the electoral officers. We also considered it appropriate to interface with transport providers to review logistic arrangements by inviting the leadership of the National Union of Road Transport Workers, the National Association of Road Transport Owners, and the Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria.
Assessed to grant the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra IPOB Nnamdi Kanu access to a medical doctor of his choice on grounds that he requires urgent ear surgery amidst his reported failing health. Delivering judgment, Justice Nyako also ordered the secret police to also monitor, record and seal all medical sessions administered on the IPOB leader for security purposes. The court, in its judgment, also ordered that all Kanu's medical records be made available to the IPOB leader. Kanu, who has been in the custody of the DSS since June 2021, is facing terrorism-related charges brought against him by the secret police. In education, an Anambra State pupil, Mesoma Ejikeme, who reportedly forged her Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination UTME result, has appeared before an ad hoc committee of the House of Representatives in Abuja. The teenager, who had admitted to manipulating her score from 249 to 362, thus parading herself as the 2023 UTME top scorer, tendered an apology to the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board JAM for her misdeed. At the hearing, Mesoma pleaded for leniency, urging JAM to lift the imposed 3-year ban. She said ignorance played a significant role in the process of obtaining the fake result. But in his submission, her result, adding that JAM had shut down over 8 UTME centers that had been found wanting.
And all the pains I've caused. I want to emphasize that ignorance played a significant role in my misguided action. Words cannot adequately describe the depths of pain I feel for letting you down. This is the first time in my life and academic studies that I will be accused for any form of misbehavior.
So, she first checked it on the 4th of May at 10:37 a.m. The 6th FF, your UTME result is as follows, totaling 249.
Back here, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Moino has sent names of commissioners and special advisors to the Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly for screening and confirmation. In his ruling, the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Udemo Tong, referred the list to the House Committee on Justice. In the meantime, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Moino yesterday administered oaths of office to Chairman and Vice Chairman of Nsribom and Urofong Oruko Local Government Councils, Deaconess Council, while Oyosoro Kono Oyosoro and Arit Sunday Ambit took the oath of office as Chairman and Vice for Urofong Oruko Local Government Council.
Sworn in Oyosoro Okon Oyosoro and Deaconess Otobong Sonny Aaron as Chairman of Urofong Oruko and Siribom Local Government Area respectively, with ceremony held at the State Banquet Hall, Government House, Uyo. Governor Ino, who congratulated them on the assumption of their new offices, restated that his administration is committed to local government areas. Work in that regard with relevant stakeholders.
Of Akwa Ibom State, congratulate you all for the new responsibilities you have now assumed as the chairman, transitioning into an office and space of which you are all familiar with. This administration, in line with the core values and vision as encapsulated in our RISE agenda, is determined to transform and deepen growth and development in our rural areas as a strategic way of curbing rural-urban migration. As heads of your respective councils,
local government chairmen to reside in their various local government areas to give room for effective leadership and growth of their various areas. The governor further stressed that he will send an executive bill in that regard to the state assembly.
People who must lead our local government must live in their, and you know you will not live in your local government. Please don't do so. If you want to be a chairman of a local government, stay in your local government. We expect you to continue to work with your stakeholders, the youth, the women, elders, to ensure that the peace we have enjoyed
of City Bomb local government area. Deacon Tobong Sonny Aaron, while appreciating God for the opportunity, pledged to serve and ensure that the people enjoy the dividends of democracy. In the meantime, also sworn in were Abrit Sunday Ambit as Vice Chairman of Refong Ruko local government area, and Bosowo Charles David as Vice Chairman for City Bomb local government area. In Uyo, Jane Uwa, Spectrum Television News.
Now to Africa, where Egypt's President Abdel El-Sisi has pardoned an unspecified number of people, including a Christian rights activist, Patrick Zaki. Reports say Zaki was sentenced on Tuesday, July 18, to 3 years in prison by the court in the Nile Delta city of Mansoura, taken into custody from the courtroom directly after the verdict. He was convicted of disseminating false news related to an article of his about alleged discrimination against the Coptic Christian minority in Egypt. On the foreign scene now, the United States has announced a new $1.3 billion military aid package for Ukraine, featuring air defense systems, anti-tank missiles, drones, and other equipment. The package is part of U.S. efforts to meet Ukraine's pressing requirements by committing critical near-term capabilities, while also building the enduring capacity of Ukraine's armed forces. Reports say the assistance will not immediately arrive on the battlefield, as it falls under the Ukraine Security Assistance Initiative, under which Washington procures equipment from the defense industry of partners rather than drawing it from U.S. stocks. Still to come in the news. Super Falcons depart Brisbane to Melbourne for Canada World Cup clash. Do stay with us. Thanks for staying tuned. Now, on our business news, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, has said a 10% appreciation in the dollar linked to global financial market forces decreased economic output in emerging market economies, including Nigeria, by 1.9%. It noted that the decline persisted for 2.5 years. The IMF also announced that the US dollar, a strong dollar, meant that trade and financial channels in emerging market economies like Nigeria were affected. Still in business, the recent increase in the cost of premium motor spirit, commonly known as petrol, has been attributed by marketers to the devaluation of the naira and the surge in crude oil prices. The chairman of the Major Oil Marketers Association of Nigeria, Lumide Adelson, during a media workshop said the international price of crude oil and the exchange rate constituted the largest components of the cost build-up for petrol, accounting for over 80%. He stated that the remaining 20% included statutory dues, distribution costs, and margins. Now in health, a consultant pediatric hematologist and oncologist at the Lagos University Teaching Hospital, Idiaraba, Professor Edamison Temiye, says children will not grow well and appropriately in an environment characterized by violence. Temiye also said a violent environment can also increase the chances of children having a low intelligence quotient, which he said will lead to poor academic performance. The pediatrician who disclosed this during an interview with Newsman, however, said adequate nutrition during pregnancy could positively impact on the brain and physical development of children. Now in sports, Nigeria's Super Falcons have embarked on a short trip from Brisbane to Melbourne today for their opening clash against Canada at the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup clash. The former African champions will take on the Olympic champions at the 28,870 capacity Melbourne Rectangular Stadium in the early hours of Friday morning. That's about 3:30 a.m. local time. The Super Falcons will also face co-hosts Australia and debutantes Republic of Ireland in the same group at the Brisbane Stadium by 11 a.m. Nigerian time. So in sports now, Chelsea forward Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is set to leave the club after agreeing a deal with Marseille. The 34-year-old scored 3 goals in 22 appearances for Chelsea after joining from Barcelona in a £10.3 million deal, 12 months remaining on his contract. In entertainment news, Guinness World Records has openly disassociated itself from a man who went partially blind for attempting to break a record for the longest crying marathon by an individual. Reports say Tembu Ebere, who has a Cameroonian heritage, attempted to break a Guinness World Record for crying for 7 days non-stop. Ebere, in an interview, claimed that he went partially blind for 45 minutes while attempting the challenge. According to him, he had to re-evaluate his approach and reduce the intensity of his wailing as it was causing him headaches. And that's all we have for you at this time. Do ensure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtv.ng. You've been watching Spectrum News at 2. My name is Xavier Robert. Wishing you a terrific day ahead. Bye-bye.